different nachos.
Hello, you are listening and we're watching the Nerd Edification Hour. I'm Caleb.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jeremy.
And today is March 4th, the year of our Lord 2016, and Twilight Princess HD has graced us with its presence, as you can tell from our table. And
So much Zelda.
not only that, though, we also have a very new, very special addition to the show. That's this guy right here, Lugia plushie.
It's a bald eagle.
Supporting. It's not a bald eagle.
So
It's like a bird with no feathers.
Lugia. Bald eagles can't swim. Lugia
No, they
swims.
can't. They can't swim. You are absolutely correct. They can try
fish.
to swim. They think
And they
they
can't
can swim.
blow everything up
but
with their
they don't
mind
swim.
powers.
You haven't proven that yet.
Well,
Bald eagles don't
but
have mind
on the
powers.
show today, you can expect TV and movie news, a whole slew of Nintendo news
Like,
because,
Yeah.
Two pages
literally
worth.
2 pages because the Nintendo Direct was yesterday, and they
I even wore
announced
my special
A whole-
all gaming shirt.
whole bunch of stuff. And then we have our nerd vocab as usual. Some just gaming news, mainly PlayStation and Xbox, mainly.
We'll give something for Rachel to talk about.
Yes,
'cause
and with a
she
little bit
doesn't,
of stuff for me.
Yeah.
And
Me and
then,
Jeremy
Otherwise,
are going off.
Yes.
yeah. And then we have some kind of mostly technology news. Nothing
If
really,
we
nothing
get
really
to it,
space today.
Which
well,
I
we
think
might.
we can.
I think we can.
I think we have as much time as we want
Everything
now.
else is kind of small, so.
Jeremy's like, yes.
Yeah.
Not too much, though. Let's calm down. Calm down.
Okay, so who from
I
who-
have no idea. I've never heard of this. Often.
you've never heard of this?
Really? Even I know
In
this.
the 90s, you never watched
Look,
this.
I didn't grow up with cable, okay?
Okay,
I
well,
was very
here's the thing.
underprivileged.
In the 90s, on Nickelodeon, there's this show called Legends of the Hidden Temple. It was a game show, essentially.
Yeah.
And now they're making it into a TV movie. So I guess it would kind of...
They're gonna make.
I guess they're kind of explaining the lore behind the temple or something and how they came up. Man, I don't know what they're gonna do.
That's almost as bad as trying to make a video game movie.
Like, no, you
adaptation.
don't understand how popular
They're going to this and they've
thing
skipped over
was.
The Price is Right? Really?
Yeah. Like,
Make a
this
movie.
was super popular in the 90s, especially with, our generation. And,
Not mine.
but no, when you went to, like, Universal Studios, when Nickelodeon Studios were still there, sometimes the Legends of the Hidden Temple people would be there and that you'd have a chance to get on the show. I mean, every time you went into the Nickelodeon section of Universal, you'd have a chance to get slimed or participate and stuff like that. Now they don't have it.
Yeah, have you seen the building now?
I think the Blue Man Group show is inside the old
No,
building.
it's depressing.
It's
The whole
sad.
building is just like one solid color. It's like white.
Yeah.
Nothing there. It used to be
Nothing
these
is
crazy
left.
colors and
Nothing is left. It's very sad. I mean, they still have Nickelodeon kind of characters in their parades, but
yeah.
I miss the good old days, though. Oh, and
when we were young.
in addition, there's going to be a 2-part TV movie based on Hey Arnold, which is one of the best animated series that Nickelodeon produced.
From 96 2004. Yeah, that thing was
Yeah.
out there for a
A
while.
long
I mean,
time.
Even I watched some
Yeah,
of it.
it's weird. Like, Hey Arnold, it was good. It wasn't like action show or anything. What usually runs.
It had a
on
lot of different
kind
stuff. It had like
It was-
Football head.
there
It was
was
like a slice of life kind of.
yeah, there was slice of life. There was adventure,
life lessons.
life lessons.
Oddly shaped heads.
Yes, oddly shaped heads. And apparently, the rumor is, I don't know if this
What's
is a
that rumor? It's actually yeah,
true now.
They're
okay.
doing that.
The news is that they're going to explain in further detail his.
Mind
whole...
you, from 96 2004, where were his parents?
Well,
That was part of the mystery.
That's part of the mystery.
There was a
and
whole movie
in one
based
of the
on that.
movies about it, they it kind of talked about how they went missing. They were explorers or something like that. They went missing.
Ah.
So some kind of fan headcanons were they had some stuff with the wild thornberries and all that kind of stuff, and they tried to maybe mix those two lores. The fans did at least, and I was just like, I have no idea. Maybe they'll tell us one day, and lo and behold,
But actually,
like 11 years later, they're going to be.
yeah. But
12 years later,
Actually,
excuse
the
me.
Rugrats and Wild Thornberries, I think those were. I think they did like a cross thing,
No.
kind of like they did with Jimmy Neutron. And I'm trying to remember. They did
No,
something.
I know the Jimmy Neutron one. That one. was
They
good.
did something
Yeah.
Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd
And
Parents.
yes,
which is
there
actually
was a
not very nice.
crossover with Wild Thornberries with some other show. I don't.
Pretty sure it was Rugrats.
No,
It
no,
wasn't
I'm gonna have to
Rugrats.
look it up. It
Sure?
wasn't one Rugrats. I'll look it up
No,
and
I'm
I
doing it
will
now.
tell us later.
I'm
no,
doing it now.
You're doing it now.
I'm doing it
okay.
now.
But while
doing it live.
While Caleb is figuring this part out.
Pre-recorded live.
While Caleb is figuring that out, whether there was a crossover
Yeah.
with Wild Thornberrys and whoever it
Yee.
was.
other
Jeremy,
one.
tell us about Big Hero 6.
Aw. Big Hero 6 is finally getting its own animated series, which is coming pretty soon. The winner of the 2015 Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, Disney's Big Hero 6, was all about kids coming together and using science, their own bravery and ingenuity, and a lot of colorful armor to form a new superhero team. Uh-oh, he found some.
He
You'll have to
found
wait.
something.
Go ahead, finish.
So naturally, what the next step would be for a property like that? Why, a weekly animated series, of course. Disney has announced that TV adventures of Baymax hero Fred, Go-Go, Honey Lemon, and Wasabi will begin airing on Disney XD in 2017.
I'm so excited.
Well, this is also being done by the group that did Kim Possible.
Ooh.
This makes it so much better.
Yeah, because it looks like they may be doing the same animation style as well, which would work well for it.
Yeah.
So excited.
that's pretty cool.
I love Kim Possible. That's actually one. That's actually second on my list under Winifred Sanderson for my next cosplay.
Nice.
So yeah.
Well, what I want to know is, were they able to keep the original voice actors? Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't.
Well,
Yeah,
it
that
really
is
depends
weird.
because it is a Disney property. They have a more likely chance of doing so, but it really, honestly, depends on what those actors' schedules are. Because some of them,
Cha-ching.
yes, but Disney has more money than God, so I don't understand why they
but
wouldn't
then,
be able to give them
it's
what
a
they
show,
want.
so
Yeah.
sometimes they can't bring them on because
Okay.
it's lower budget. Is
So,
all right.
who did they have a crossover with? Rugrats. All right, I don't know.
Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
And it was
okay.
actually in theaters, believe it or not. I think I actually went to go see it. In
I think I
theaters.
remember that actually, but no. Okay.
I was right for once. Yes.
Maybe. But here's another bit of news, guys. So I'm excited about this. Are you excited about this?
Not really.
No? No? Okay. Well, I'm a big Burton fan, as you guys know. And on September 30th, he's made a film for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's a book that came out in 2011 by author Ransom Riggs, which is actually inspired in part by all these, weird vintage photographs that you come across that that are based either from a freak show or just a weird odd shop, and you come across them all the time. They're very interesting. And like the cover shot is a girl that's levitating. The author collected all these at flea markets and included them in the book. So Burton also has said that he found inspiration in those images. But what makes this really, really interesting is that Entertainment Weekly has a bunch of shots from the film, from on site and all that. And what makes me happy is thus far it's looking like Tim Burton is returning, at least in part, to his practical effects.
Nice.
So, at least in film style from what I can see, and also costuming. But from what I've seen, I haven't seen anything huge CG-wise yet, other than the levitating girl that has to be pulled down the beach with a rope. Like, it's
Right.
literally like she's a balloon or something. But but that's the only thing that I've seen that definitely they're going to have to do CG on that. But other than that, it looks really, really good. So I'm super excited about it. And it's a movie based on a book, so that could either go really well or not so well. But the author seems to approve thus far, which is good.
I'd have to go back and I'm not familiar with the series. It's just the only image I've seen of it so far looked almost like it was like someone trying to copy the idea or take the idea from, like, what was it, the Lemony Snicket's, and just the way the art, the style was. And I've only seen one screenshot, so that's all I know of. I was like,
let me give you a little bit of a premise. Basically,
bring me up to speed here.
Yeah, basically in the book, all of these children have kind of mysterious powers. Think kind of X-Men sort of thing. A girl can levitate. Another one has control over plants. There is an invisible boy.
More Victorian area.
Yeah.
So it sounds
yeah.
like, what was it?
Oh, no, not Victorian era. They're actually right before World War II, during World War II, I think. No, we're World War I. I'm going to have to double check.
Okay.
But it's during one of the world wars,
It's
and
old.
the house that they're in, the orphanage kind of thing that they're in with Miss Peregrine, who can actually turn into a bird.
Nice.
And I think she's played by Eva Green, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah,
I saw her on there.
wonderful. But they're stuck in a time loop right before a bomb is dropped on them.
Ah.
So when the bomb drops, that one is when the time loop resets. the time loop is housed in this tree. So if they go into beneath this giant tree where there's a cave and then go back out, they're in present day. But they can't stay for very long because they'll age very rapidly.
Gotcha.
But so basically, the main character is the grandson of someone who used to stay there. And his grandfather passed away, and he goes to find all these people, only to discover that they're in a time lock. So
Okay, see, now I'm interested.
yeah. Now you want to read the book that I told your wife to buy, isn't it? Yeah, this is it.
Oh, crap.
This
That's
is
what it is?
This is it.
Well,
No.
You know what she's going to ask you to go see on September 30th, right?
I'm okay with that. That actually does kind of sound right off my alley.
It's a
though,
really
honestly.
good book, and it has all of these kind of weird pictures to accompany certain scenes
I like
in there.
pictures.
So there you go.
it does sound strange, kind of like.
Well, it's
how
very
There
Burton.
was like the labyrinth or something like that. It's like or Never-Ending Story. It's kind of weird. It
No,
sounds
Never-Ending
kinda
Story
weird
is
like that.
great.
No, Never-Ending Story
And
is great.
trippy.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, but like, it's like
Falcor.
weird. Like it's like weird. You know what I mean?
No, but this when I first started reading. I only recently started reading the book last year.
And very recently got my wife to start reading and
Yes, I
buying the books.
did. Yep. But when I had first heard about it back in 2011, the first thing I thought was, man, this sounds like a Tim Burton movie. Look who's making the movie.
Oh, Lord.
So,
there you go.
But they recently, the sequel's out. It's a part of a trilogy. There's some other stuff going on. I don't know. There's a lot. He's writing a lot.
Okay,
So-
I'll check it out.
But yeah, and now we move on.
Actually, I'd like to add,
Oh.
if we got time to add one little
Okay,
thing just
go
to
ahead.
discuss.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys watched it or not. The Ghostbusters trailer dropped.
Yes.
I am mixed on this one. I'm a lot more excited than I was originally because I was kind of iffy. Like mostly of how Sony was, just, their main focus was not the story, the continuation. It's like, all right, we're gonna have 4 women doing the thing. I was like, okay, whatever. That's kind of a little weird, but whatever.
Well, they did do kind of a nod to the original at the beginning.
That actually, I
there
did not
was
like that because
a
it was a
bunch of,
complete
like-
misleading. There's
It
a
was
good
like,
chance
hey,
they're not even
hey,
using.
look,
well,
remember that part in the first movie? Huh? Wink.
Well, there's a good
nudge.
chance they're not even using the firehouse.
Basically,
That was
that's-
just to try and be like, look, you remember this? We're not doing it. And that's kind of how they did it because during the, trailer starts off, they're talking about 30 years ago and all that stuff. But in the way they're doing it, none of them ever existed. There is no Egon, no Spangler, no Winston, no Ray.
I thought that some of them had cameos. Didn't they talk about?
They're not themselves. They might have like a little cameo as like one
Oh,
of them's like
well.
a janitor or something. I mean, they have nothing to do with them.
Okay.
So they're acting like they never existed, but it's really misleading that they brought it up in the trailer about them like, hey, you remember this? We're not doing it.
Well,
when
maybe it's really far into the future or something.
they're acting like it never happened in the movies. That's what they've already said. Like it's
okay.
it's a they're like we're just gonna drop the old films and remake it. So all of that's gone, which I would have liked if they had it like someone picking it up from there or doing something.
I understand why, as someone who has done kind of directorial stuff very briefly, I understand why they'd want to do that. I understand why economically and just plot wise and all that kind of stuff, why they'd want to go like no, because a lot of times when you do something that's based off of like make it a direct sequel or make it a continuation or make it like that, people are going to always compare it to the and then but
They're going to anyways
they're
though.
going to
If you're
anyway.
going to use the
But-
logo, use a version of the music, try and use all the ideas, use a version of the car, everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're welcoming a comparison because you're doing
Yes.
that. It's
Let's say
But
Angry,
it's
Angry
compared on a different
Joe,
level, though, but-
I watched him, Angry Joe. He actually did like a very. He actually pointed out like why he didn't like it. I'm like, okay, I could see.
some of it I did like. I mean, the characters are
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of they're not trying to do they are versions of the original cast. Mm-hmm. The way they cast it, the way they're doing
Mm-hmm.
it. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. But they are changing up a little bit for how they act with each person, which is fine.
Now,
Oh.
for I know briefly when we talked about this in our little chat thing, we did briefly touch upon the technology that they use.
That was a little crazy and over the top that I didn't really like.
I
But they're
didn't-
pulling out like they've got pistols in their part of their packs that they
I-
can use, and she's got a glove, and I'm like, really?
That didn't bother me as much considering the time difference of that was made back in the 80s.
That still doesn't make it any less ridiculous
yes,
on what they're doing.
I know, but for development of technology, that's pretty accurate of what they're doing.
But that never existed. You're
Yes,
saying that would be
but-
continuation. They're using the idea.
No,
This is a whole new thing.
No,
where they're-
I'm not. I'm just thinking technological advancement, not like from that to there.
Well, we're
From-
talking about in one film, they're going from needing an entire backpack for the proton packs, which they always had to have, to all of a sudden now they've got a hand one they're wearing and a pistols that have nothing connected to them that can do the same thing. And I'm like, really? It's kind of...
Well, can we talk for a moment how
Yeah.
big cell phones used to be, and now they're not so big?
Right, but they still have the proton pack. They're not... There's... It's just kind of the way they were jumping around with it seemed kind of weird.
Well, I always, for me, this is a first trailer. It's the first trailer. It's just showing literally everything that they can show. Me for one, I'm always open mind when it comes to.
I'm
these
giving it
kind
more of a
things, but-
chance. I'm but saying they are doing a lot of stuff that's kind of throwing. I mean, if they want to rely on this fan base of people that have loved these movies, imagine if they made another Back to the Future and just threw everything out, no connection to it whatsoever, didn't use a DeLorean. Now all of a sudden, it's some Ford Focus with something else in there that has a little car that pops out of it that they can ride around in. You'd be looking at it going, what? Like, this is the whole thing we did.
From an outside perspective, let's forget about the original films just for a second. Would
One
you
of the
see this
highest
movie?
rated
Yes, just for a second.
comedy
Doesn't matter.
movies in history.
Doesn't matter.
That's like saying, let's just forget about Citizen Kane
I'm
for
not saying,
films.
I'm not saying forget about, but just for this moment, to examine the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
forget about that film. Would you go see it?
I honestly can't make the argument for that because I can't just forget about the original films.
I know that.
My
but,
kids even grew up on that. They all
Yes,
know
but-
this. We had the cartoon series. We had the comics that are still going on.
film, just how it's marketed. It's How do I explain this without sounding incredibly strange? They're equally trying to get the people who saw them back in the day just as much as they are trying to draw new people in. So they have to find a middle ground. And someone's going to get mad. Everyone's going to get mad at something in it, no matter what.
Well, a lot of
you
people,
do.
like, if they just
But-
had a way that, they, even in Ghostbusters, before this ever happened, they had ways for that to go, and they were talking about doing the franchising, things like that, treating it almost like a kind of a comedic, actual business.
Mm-hmm.
They even covered it in the game, where they were bringing in new people to train because they were going to do their own thing and so forth, and that had the original all four cast doing the voice work, because technically the game is the last movie that had all of them in it, the way they treated that. So they had avenues to have done that, but they just kind of scrubbed it, started over.
Well, a
But
lot of
there's
it
still
wasn't. A lot.
reference-
They, for all we know, the people who wrote the script, the people who wanted to get this movie made,
Mm-hmm.
did have that originally. But end all catch all, it's not their decision. It's the executive's decision, because that's who gives them the money.
Yeah.
So they kind of have no choice at that point. So there's some decisions that are made in filmmaking that Deadpool's probably the only exception. If we're going to talk about it, Deadpool has probably been the only exception to all these rules, because the executives were directly involved in the filmmaking.
And
True.
Deadpool breaks the rules.
And
anyway,
Deadpool breaks the
so-
rules anyway.
Yeah,
So-
but they
but
reference the
normally-
history. They don't break off from it. It's still part of it.
Yes, but normally that doesn't happen in other movies, and we know this we know this to be true. There's been thousands of not thousands, but many sequels that have been made that have been totally terrible, or reboots that have been totally terrible
Yeah.
because of executive decision,
Yeah.
and that's just what it all comes down to. I mean, if films were always exactly to the point that the way that we wanted it, they'd be 5 hours long and with an intermission, which I personally think that's the way it should go back to.
I'd
But-
have to see more of it. At the moment, I probably wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to look at it more and see. It seemed kind of like
Well,
an
they'll
odd one.
probably release another trailer. I'm waiting to see a trailer on Miss Peregrine, so we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
So basically, everyone, that is what goes on Facebook. That's
Yeah.
what you don't see. Basically,
That's when you
Yeah.
just put your phone down and never answer. You're just like,
Exactly.
I'm
Or
done.
he
I
fixes
don't have anything to say. You guys are going back and forth.
or he fixes a bowl of popcorn.
Learn
and
to
just
type
watch
faster.
As you want.
It.
Just
Yeah.
put yourself in there.
Okay, now we'll
All right.
move on
Alright.
to the Nintendo
And now,
Direct.
Rachel, you can just hide your head, you go away, and then me and Jeremy will talk about this. So, Jeremy.
You're saying that I don't like Nintendo.
Okay, at certain parts, but you don't like Star Fox. So.
And I'm not big on Star Fox,
Okay,
no.
then.
So
All right.
Okay, so
Jeremy, Star Fox Zero.
Yay!
I'm just gonna take a sip of my Coca-Cola.
All right, you do that.
I'll just sit here.
Yep.
Don't mind me.
Not sponsored by it.
I'll just watch you.
Might be an
y'all.
extra long episode. Might be 2 hours, but
Let's just go have at it. Game, set, fight.
Yep.
Star
So
Fox Zero.
Star Fox,
I'm loving it.
Fox McCloud comes back. Yeah.
They
it's
actually they
great.
brought back the entire original voice cast from 64 version. They're
That
all
is
there.
Okay,
pretty
I'm
epic.
impressed.
Now here's the kicker: a lot of people are watching the trailers or they're watching gameplay videos and they're like, "Well, all it is text. I'm not seeing them doing anything." All the voices go through the gamepad. So while you're playing, they're talking to you from the gamepad.
Innovative.
It's not the
I
first
wonder-
time. It was.
I wonder if
Just
you
like in
plug
a
a
cockpit.
I wonder
That's
if
actually
you,
pretty
I wonder
nice.
if you plug a headset into the gamepad.
Yeah. Well, no, some games they've actually. It's not the first time. Batman: Arkham City and Arkham Origins would do this. You could plug it in, and it was Alfred supposed to be in the cowl talking to you while you're playing the game. So you would only get Alfred through the earpiece. It was actually made where you'd put a headphone in. So that way you could play, and Alfred would be able to give you communication or talk to you. So
That's really cool. Good job, Wii U.
yeah, it's a nice little
That
thing.
is pretty nice.
The game looks really good. Now, a fun little bonus. They showed some of the amiibo support. There's more coming. But did you see what they're doing?
Yeah,
with
they
Fuse
brought back
Fox?
the retro,
Not just-
very first edition of his
Super Nintendo.
ship. So you could just find like this little blocky looking
It's-
R
yeah,
wing
it's-
that just
What it is
has no detail.
recently I've been on Twitch actually playing the original Star Fox.
I watched a little bit of that.
Yeah, you were. It was funny with you on there, Caleb. You're like, "What is this?" Like, it's so blocky. Playing with the D-pad is so hard, but it's a lot of fun to play. But if you scan in Fox McCloud's amiibo from Smash Brothers, you actually get the original Super Nintendo ship. Now, part of the reason I think they did that is how the ship in this one, the R-wing, can turn into like a little walker. Well, that's not an original idea. They did that in the unreleased Super Nintendo sequel that was done, ready to be put out, and they canned it because they went ahead and switched over to making Star Fox 64. So there's a good chance this thing will still turn into that unreleased version as you're running around, which is great. We finally get to play around with it.
Yeah, and they showed off a lot more bosses and like how to like switch to different paths that take you to different
the warp
planets and
zones.
stuff like that. So I'm like, okay.
And then as you play through, it
Sure.
actually unlocks more stuff. So there's a lot of replay value to it, and they're putting like extra challenge modes and stuff
Wii U
in it.
is still going ham, guys. Wii U is still going ham. I actually played Xenoblade for the first time last night in a long time, and I had no idea where I was.
I gotta pick that up, back up.
No, I'm going to play Zelda tonight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
we're streaming
I'll
that.
be.
They
I
did.
won't be streaming it, but I'll be playing it.
They didn't go back and add a multiplayer, which a lot of people were kind of disappointed about. But there is a 2-player mode where one of you can fly the R-wing with like a pro controller, and the other one is using the gamepad and being the gunner. And a friend of mine, I was
Oh, that's
like,
kind of neat co-op there.
well, a friend of mine was like, oh, so basically they just took Star Fox and put it for like in Star Wars, which you're co-pilot in a speeder. So they're the gunner while you're flying.
Oh,
And I was just like, all right,
Yeah.
that's a nice
Yeah,
way to
that's
do it.
that's a good one.
yeah.
So now the other
Looks
thing they
great.
announced with it was a game we saw at E3 a while back, which is now called Star Fox Guard. It was originally just Project Guard. It's one of the 2 kind of tech demos they showed off that's actually attached to it. Players set up 12 cameras to find and defeat enemies who are attacking the mining site of Slippy Toad's uncle, Grippy Toad. Really, Nintendo? Grippy Toad. He's got a mustache. It looks hilarious.
no.
Yeah, I got to give him credit. The artwork is hilarious on the front cover of it. The game includes about 100 stages, but players can also create their own stages by editing the placement of enemies and uploading their levels online. Only way to get physical version of Star Fox Guard is by purchasing the packed version of Star Fox Zero. And actually for that, I believe it's still just a code.
Yeah.
You get the code with it, but there's no physical release. Now, in Europe, I think, or at least in Japan, they're getting a physical box that just has a code in it.
I guess people collect boxes.
Well, they did that for, I know, like Minecraft on the Vita. You buy a box, but it's just a code inside. And there's a couple games they did like that. It's weird. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, the box, like I said, I love
Why?
We're gonna go in now. Like when we go shopping, we're just gonna walk in the store and then
Everything's
going to
be
the box.
paper soon.
It's just gonna be a box, and then
Everything-
you open
well,
the box
plus
and the
we're gonna
code's
be-
on the
we're gonna-
inside.
Well, no, here's the kicker.
There's gonna be no disc.
They do this, and I know why they do it. They're trying to get people like me that actually collect and keep these things. Like, oh, you'll just want that on your shelf, and I'm like, I'm not an idiot. It's a code. I want an actual
I
physical
want the
game.
copy
So one day,
I don't have to re-download it.
well, I don't mind that, but one day when that digital copy is no longer there, I can still go, oh, okay, just put it in the system. I'm going to play it anyways. That's why I'm.
You think that some digital copies are going to go away even
Well,
though you own it?
Yeah.
That's already
Yeah.
happened a few times.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like say I.
Like
Right
like
now,
I said before, if you download a game, it's there, right? But if you're like, okay, I want to play this other game, I have to download, so I got to delete that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then okay, much time later, oh, I really want to play this one game. Oh, looks like the shop's not open anymore.
Well,
Can't go
here's an
download
example
it.
of a
Right.
game I actually have. I have Wipeout on PSP, and I bought all of the DLC stuff for it. Well, I went back a while ago because I wanted to play it again. Even though I own it, DLC's gone. Can't get it anymore. So they never released a copy of that had everything together. So I paid money for it, and now it's all gone. I can't do anything with it. And one day, these stores will eventually probably go down. They're not going to keep them up forever. So at some point, your 360 digital titles may go away. Things like that.
Well,
Happens on PC a lot
good
too.
thing I don't have a lot of.
Which will probably open a lot of piracy once
Yeah,
that
well,
happens.
Good thing I don't
we've
have
had
a lot
we've
of
had that
digital
debate.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, good thing I don't have a lot of digital. And the good thing about I do. The only digital stuff I have on my Wii U is the Golden Sun stuff. So.
Yeah, I have the originals anyways.
Yeah, and I have the originals anyway. And if they ever die, I just need to get a new battery.
I'll just put it in. Yeah.
There you go. I'll just be
There you
like,
go.
Darn it, fix it.
All right. So what else happened?
Paper
Paper Mario.
Yay! the secret everyone knew about.
Colors Splash Prism Island.
Yeah, Color Splash.
Is-
Paper Mario
yeah,
Color Splash.
yeah.
That's all it is. It's
colorful.
it kind of goes off Sticker Star a bit. What I saw, they're using cards now where they paint the cards.
The
For
paint.
part of it.
The paint reminds me of Super Mario Sunshine. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's I don't know.
I missed that game.
I do
love it.
kind of. I saw it. I'm like, it looks good. It's on the Wii U.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, which is nice. But I
Very
wish they would
clean.
kind of go back to the old way, how it was like in thousand.
I think they might still have part of it in there. They're just using for some of the item things you can use, but
But like
I still want to see more
with the Sticker Star, you can only use stickers. That was about it.
So
Which,
for different attacks.
yeah, I mean, it was all right.
It was I like the mechanics. The way they laid out some of the worlds was a little confusing. That's the one thing I had a problem with. But the game itself, I actually enjoyed it. So
they are also adding a bunch of stuff to Super Mario Maker.
yeah,
yeah.
There's going to be a free update on March 9th, which is a few days from now. It's going to add Super Expert Mode
yeah, because expert
to
mode's already
the
difficult.
100 Mario Challenge. This mode is unlocked after players clear Expert Mode.
for you sadistic Mario
Yeah,
players
I can
it's
already
gonna be
hear
misty.
Aaron from Game Grumps screaming.
or
I-
Gerard.
Yeah, yeah. Even Markiplier might be
Please.
screaming. Jack
Jack
is
Septiceye.
definitely screaming.
This is one of those
He's
moments.
Irish screaming, which is
See,
different.
if Nintendo is smart, they're going to look at this and all the costumes that you unlock if you do that, they should just make a special amiibo for each one. Because I'll be like, yeah, no, I'll just pay for the amiibo, please.
Yeah, no, and it's a Super Expert Mode actually dishes out 6 extremely tough courses. Additionally, 12 new mystery mushroom costumes have been added to the 100 Mario Challenge. The update also provides level creators with some tools like
Yes, these I
you
was happy
shake
about.
you shake certain things and they turn into other things.
Well, they unlock the keys and key
Yeah.
doors, which is great because not only do you have the keys that you can hide, you can put them in bosses, making them mandatory to fight them. And they brought back the red coins, so you can put so many of those in there, and you have to search and find every one of them to get a key to get out of an area.
There's also pink coins.
That's, yeah. Oh, that's why they call them pink coins. I'm used to calling them just red ones. They look red to me.
Yeah, so you can shake a thwomp and turn it into a massive skewer column, and so many. And then additionally, the Super Mario
So many
Maker.
ideas.
Additionally, the Super Mario Maker bookmark site will see additions such as ranking categories for world records and the number of first clear courses, inspiring new ways to experience the main game. I don't know, they're adding a whole bunch of stuff, which is great because everyone plays Super Mario Maker right now. Literally everyone's playing
Well,
it.
also,
I'm not though.
this lovely little amiibo here, the wolf, you can unlock that in there too.
Oh,
Just
dear-
scan it in there,
dear
and you
God.
get the Wolf and Midna pixel art, so you can
Midna?
play as
Oh my goodness.
Midna.
Just
So-
Midna?
Wolf and Midna.
I know. I'm just kidding.
And then also, and this is interesting, Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games.
It looked fun. It actually
Launches
did look
on-
It
good.
does look fun.
Launches on June 24th. I mean, they're really fun multiplayer games.
Oh,
to
yeah.
have.
I'm actually gonna buy it because we
Well,
have a
ma-
game night and
Yeah, mainly
This is
because
I
great.
have
and
the
this,
original and then the Winter Olympics after
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
I got those. Those are the only ones I have. though.
Well, mainly, these kind of games are good. for families and for, you know, game nights and parties and stuff like that, because co-op and multiplayer in this style is very seldom made these days, especially on the newer game consoles.
Because it's all first-person shooters.
Like, Nintendo is literally the only one that is continually releasing stuff like this. Like, I think I only own one co-op multiplayer game on my
It's
PS4.
like, do you still interact with human beings?
And that's
Play Nintendo.
And you want to know what game that is? It's a really Divinity is the only game on PS4 that has
Yeah.
a co-op 2-player mode.
Yeah.
Well, there's I know of
Yeah.
because this is something I get into a
Yeah.
lot, so we keep up with it. Of course, any of the fighting games will do
Yeah.
2-player. Diablo 3 is a really good one for 4-player.
Outside of fighting games, that's the only one that I've seen.
Yeah, Diablo's one. Minecraft still does split screen.
But-
There's a couple of them, but not
Right.
nearly as many.
Right, so the game is going to take place in pretty much all the locales modeled after the actual venues in
Yeah,
Rio.
they're pretty good about
Yeah,
that, too.
Splatoon is getting more updates. The first one comes
Splatoon?
on, yes. First one comes out on March 8th and balances some gear abilities to improve some lesser used ones and make them more appealing. There's some tweaks to matchmaking. Ranked battles and Splatfests aim to improve the overall user experience. Another update is going to arrive in 2 waves, with the first one coming in April. It will adjust some existing weapons and add a new weapon set recommendation as Sheldon's pick.
That sounds actually...
I kind of like it
sounds
because
really
it's
good.
basically saying, like, here's a weapon most people don't use, but it actually works better if you pair it up with these 2 pieces. So, hey, we'll let you get it as a set so you can
Right.
kind of understand how
Right.
it should work.
Right.
Because not everyone's going to be able to take the time to figure
mean,
out every
Yeah.
combination.
I
and-
only go in and play Splatoon every now and then because it's one of those games. The way it's played, like, it's fun, but
Yeah.
I can only play it in small bursts.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten on there and actually played together, people.
Because
I
y'all are
know.
never on at the same time.
Yeah, we're on it
We
pretty
need to
sparse
coordinate.
Well, I mean, if you quit running and hiding from our online arguments, you could be like, hey, let's play Splatoon. And be like,
No.
shut up, Caleb, we're arguing about something.
times. Now, this next one is something
Yes.
I'm really excited for. I've been
Alright,
waiting.
So I'll
for
take
this.
this.
So, yeah.
Well, you can take
No,
it.
I'm
I'll
just messing with you.
commentate.
I mean,
Go for
I think we're all 3 pretty excited. about
Yeah.
it. Just
Just confused
we
about the
we got
name.
to see more.
I was very confused when I saw this. I was like, "Where's my Fire Emblem X Shin Megami
So,
Tensei?"
what
Oh, they changed the name.
I
Yeah, I
think we
told you
lost
about it, and
everybody.
you-
What we're
Yeah, anyways, go
talking
ahead.
about is Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, which we've been talking about. It's under a new name. We've been talking about it as Fire Emblem Cross.
Shin
Shin
Megami
Megami
Tensei.
Tensei.
I almost
Shin Megami Tensei.
I know Shin Megami Tensei. There you are.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about that, and they changed the name. The gameplay looks really nice, although
You get to be a pop star. Excuse you.
exactly. All right, but look.
That's the weird part about it.
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
the
I
weird
like
part. That's the part I feel like my parents are gonna walk in and I'll be like, I can explain.
That day has passed.
No, my mother will probably like walk in and be like, "What do you owe?"
What's that outfit you wear?
No, that
I just play games in my house and no one cares.
She'll probably ignore it.
I mean, it does look fun. It looks colorful, and
I mean, it's
It's beautifully done.
beautiful.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
Have
love.
you seen the cover? I don't know what they're going to change the cover art to, but the original cover art in Japan.
I think they're keeping that.
Oh, it's so
Because-
beautiful and colorful.
Well, they're actually one thing they're focusing on, and I normally kind of have a bit of an issue with this, but I kind of understand what they're doing here. It has such a heavy focus on Tokyo with the way that the actual world is. They're keeping all of the Japanese voice acting, and they're just going to do English subtitles.
now normally that'd be like a cop out, but for this,
For what
it-
they're doing, I
because-
kind of get it.
Yeah, because they don't want to mess up like the translations, especially in the song. Because
yeah.
Japanese
Yeah.
songs
Well-
kind of like when
Well,
they
I
translate
don't,
to
I don't,
English,
I don't
kinda
mind.
sound
I don't mind
odd.
the songs staying Japanese
who's-
because I listen to J Rock and J Pop a lot.
Well, the original songs are being done by Japanese entertainment giant Avex,
Oh,
which
good.
is one of the biggest
Avex is good.
pop music groups.
Oh, yeah,
pop
no,
music
I'm familiar with
producers
Avex.
over there.
Plus,
Yeah.
it'd be like you're playing an anime.
Yeah. No, it's turn-based battles. It's turn-based battles. There's fan service, including Fire Emblem references.
Oh, I thought you
and
were like the other kind.
yeah, no.
Not so much reference; it's straight up in there.
Yeah, and it's one of the game is one of a kind, really, because it's like a kind of a crossover thing.
I wonder if it'll have Marth in it.
And it launches June 24th. and I'm excited for it. I've been waiting for this because I normally don't. I like the Shin Megami Tensei
Some of these
games.
are coming pretty quick. I mean, they were just kind of like nothing. Like for Star Fox, it's
Here
like,
you go.
no, next month. And I'm like,
it's-
whoa, wait a minute.
What?
No, here's the thing, guys. If the rumor that the NX is coming out, later this year is true, they're literally trying to get everything out before then. That's what I'm seeing anyway.
I
But
have to see.
we'll see. But I don't know. I think they
This-
should take their time. So
Yeah,
This one was kinda cool.
This next one was.
I get this one actually to a point. I'm not the best for digital. I'll go.
Well, we're talking about Lost Reavers
Yeah.
first off.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. Though. When I hear Reavers, the first thing I think is Firefly. That's all I gotta say.
Well, this one's got more life than that, sadly.
Shot to the heart, and you're to blame.
Well, we just got taken up on YouTube. They're gonna flag it on YouTube.
Oh God.
All right, so Bandai Namco's latest free-to-play online co-op action game asks players to team up with other adventurers online to fight zombies and solve puzzles as they search for valuable treasure. As players complete missions, characters will level up, unlock additional skills, and increase their in-game funds to acquire new weapons. Now, it's going to have an open beta launching April 14th with the full version coming out on April 28th.
I'll actually play that. I like Bandai.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're going to do because it's free to play, so I'm wondering what they're going to do for microtransactions or what's the means of actually getting people to continue playing it. It looked interesting. It's a little more simpler in the design, but it kind of makes sense for what they're doing.
I see for.
But if it's fun and you got people
Yeah.
playing with it, that's what gets you to go into
yeah.
it.
We shall see.
Oh, zombies.
So now,
Nintendo 3DS.
section.
Yay!
Kirby Planet Robot.
Planet
Planet Robot.
It's a robot.
No.
Kirby Gundam.
To be it's called Planet Robobot. Robobot.
Robobit.
Robobot.
Robibit.
Robobot.
Roboboo.
I like this first one. Robot.
Planet Robot.
They should have
Futurama style.
They should have.
Robot.
They should have had you name the game, Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should
Yeah, this
retire
one-
me.
It looks like this is a new Kirby game that's, I think it's using the same engine as the last
Triple
one.
Deluxe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
which is
fun.
not bad.
It was
I mean,
fun.
That was good.
It's smart to take the engine and reuse it for new stuff, but just adding
They're
it in.
giving Kirby a mech suit. Like if Kirby wasn't already a planet-destroying monster, he now has a mech suit. Like,
Yeah, the actual synopsis they have here: invaders have mechanized Dreamland. To restore his home to its original form, Kirby must use their technology against them with a new Robobot armor.
Robobot.
Robobit.
The Robobot armor can even destroy a variety of obstacles in his way. The Team Kirby Clash mode lets up to 4 players join forces to battle against
that
powerful
actually looks
bosses.
really fun. It's like RPG. It looks
Yeah,
really cool.
that's gonna be
I
trippy.
saw that. Oh.
Players select one of 4 roles and participate in a co-op quest to defeat a boss while supporting their team. Completing a quest earns experience points to level up and grow more powerful. The game is compatible with a large variety of amiibo figures, and some give Kirby character-specific abilities. Now, on top of that, they're talking about like Mario gives you fire and Link gives you
yeah.
the sword. It's the traditional Kirby ones. They just have certain amiibo assigned
Yeah.
to them. The other ones give you random.
Yeah.
So that can be interesting.
Except for like Meta Knight. gives
Speaking of
you,
amiibo.
like,
And
a
there's new
Meta Knight
amiibos
kinda-
coming out for
Yes,
it, right?
they're actually doing an entire series, I believe, of 5 Kirby amiibos, which will be Kirby, King Dedede, Meta Knight, and Waddle Dee. So, all right, 4.
Yeah.
They gave Kirby's attributes specific to each character. Tapping the Kirby figure is the only way to get the UFO ability, which was a classic from,
I like
Dreamland.
the UFO.
Yeah, Kirby
My
Dreamland.
2 favorite abilities in the Kirby games are UFO and sleep.
I like the microphone just
I
because
like
the
the
animations
sleep
every
one.
time are great.
It's
Yeah.
cute. I actually that was that's one of the
I love
I'm
the
not
Smash
I'm
ability.
pretty artistic, but when it comes to drawing, I'm not all that great all the time, but I can draw a sleeping Kirby.
Yeah.
I can.
They literally, the first one, they tell you how to draw them.
Mm-hmm.
The game and the new amiibo figures will launch on June 10th. Now, just to keep in mind, the Waddle Dee is the only one that actually is going to have a different thing that it does.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby, Meta Knight, and King Dedede will function exactly the same as their Smash Brothers ones. So you don't have to get them if you already have those.
But if you're a big
it's-
collector, yeah. Basically Jeremy's gonna
Jeremy.
get them. So
I have
okay,
to get them.
and I'm
All
now
right.
going to give this
Yes. I am so happy.
to. Are you
Okay.
okay? Are y'all gonna fight to talk
No.
about?
I
liked
see,
it.
Just no. And are you all gonna fight to see who talks about this?
Nope.
Lugia, use Arrow Blast.
I'll be nice. Go for it.
I literally have 3 Pokemon on the table.
I'll give you this, but I claim
All right.
Monster Hunter.
Okay, you go. So, Metroid Prime Federation Force, the first look at it back
Cue
at
Caleb
E3.
screaming.
Oh, the whiny babies.
Yeah, all the little whiny babies like, that's not Metroid, it doesn't have Samus in it. Oh,
Technically, Samus is in it.
guess what? This stuff is canon.
Yeah.
So,
I like it. I
Suck
mean-
it, nerds. No, I
We were
like
talking about multi.
Suck it, nerds. It's canon.
Caleb, we're the nerds.
You are the nerd, so
How
That's-
rude.
All right.
Moving on.
All right, so in the Federation Force, this is the next chapter to the Metroid Prime series. It is a first-person adventure fused with puzzle solving, focused on shooting and co-op gameplay, which I am
I'm happy about.
I heard
actually.
the word puzzles and went, okay.
Well, I mean, the Metroid
I
series
like
has always been
puzzles.
known for different puzzles and things when you're playing it. The co-op aspect of it, I mean, for games that are as popular for playing together as like Mario Kart and Monster Hunter and things like that, this fits really good. And mind you, this is not the first
No,
time a
but yeah.
Metroid game has had multiplayer.
No, I mean, well, that was back in Echoes, but
It was fun, but it was limited because it was only split screen. This will give you your own screen, which is
Yeah,
good.
but so players take on missions that tell a story of the battle between the Galactic Federation's elite Federation Force unit and the Space Pirates, which
Space
has
Pirates!
actually never been touched on. Usually, it's just like Samus and
Yeah, you
that
see
comes
them and
in.
everything.
But and you always hear about these fights, like, yeah, man, we've been fighting off these pirates and stuff, like in Corruption. They
It's
were,
like, okay, you're
oh.
fighting pirates again. Who
Yeah,
are these
no, good
pirates?
job.
Now we
So
get
do
to
I.
know. Yeah, so
So each player must select and carry specific sub-weapons based on their preferred roles, then proceed to complete each mission. The game will launch in late spring. Now, I do like this idea, and I like the fact that, say, okay, their mech suits are designed after Samus. That kind of takes off to where, like, the Space Pirates have also been trying to recreate Samus'
Right,
technology.
they're kind of taking that, but they've got more open
But
access
they can't
to it.
actually copy it because the Chozo technology is kind of way advanced. Than
Right,
what
and,
they're-
and what I didn't realize, like everyone's kind of like, oh, it's this like chibi art style, which I kind of get why they did the little smaller
on the
size
3DS, yeah.
because it's for a portable. But I did not realize
It
how
only
big
handles
those
so much.
suits really are. When you see the little people like crawl in it and sit down, I'm like,
They're pretty.
whoa, they are small.
They're pretty. They're pretty big.
But given what they do, I mean, you see it from their visor screen. That's what you're
Right.
seeing on the screen at all times. So it's more if you're going to see the other characters, keeps their diminutive size. So they don't take up all your screen. They each have different colors assigned to them when you're doing stuff, so you can kind of identify them from the backgrounds easier. But the actual world, the wildlife and the creatures around you are still pretty faithful
Yeah,
to the original
they're,
Metroid Prime. Like I saw them when they were popping up, going, "Oh, okay, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, I know where that's
There's
from."
there's gonna be like
Kill it.
3 different planets, and basically what the Federation Force is gonna do, they're gonna go in there and they're gonna like reclaim these planets.
Right.
Because one of them like literally had a meteor strike it like 20 years ago or something like that.
So it's like a
which,
frozen wasteland. They got
it's a
another one's
frozen
all
wasteland
fire.
now.
And,
The other one's like some kind of toxicated, abandoned facility kind of planet.
say intoxicated is like a giant bar.
Oh,
no,
it's drunk.
no.
This is the
Tox-
biggest
no,
galactic bar fight in history.
Not intoxicated, toxicate. I don't.
Toxic.
See, I'm gonna have to-
toxic.
Just toxic.
Mm-hmm.
I was
I
trying to
say
be
for that
fancy.
one, I'm gonna have to go in with a broken bottle loadout.
Oh Lord.
But
Yeah, that's interesting.
it does
I-
like yeah, someone could carry like a whole bunch of health canisters, or
Yeah,
someone
you can
else
be
could
like a
carry
healer, you can
missiles
be-
and things like that. Which kind of like I know I've seen on the internet a lot of people were like, yeah, man, it'd be great if you customize Samus' suit in some way or something like that, or maybe have like stats. That's kind of
You kind of could
Like,
before to a
yeah,
point, but
like
this
what
is yeah. I mean, people. The reason they're complaining, they're like, "Oh, well, this isn't a Samus game." Is like, I'm actually kind of glad it's not. We've had every single game in the Metroid universe is focused on Samus, which is great. I love some of my favorite games. But it's nice that they're finally expanding out and we're getting to see more of it. Like, we always see these people as either dead people on the floor,
yeah.
which is great. They're actually moving this time.
Oh,
Or they're fighting with you a little bit like in Metroid Prime 3, and then they're dead people on the floor. Like, they never survive it,
And
and
then
it's
they
always
die.
you. So, you know, the analogy I gave, it's like reading one comic book series and one comic book series alone, and then throwing a fit when any other comic in that universe ever comes out. Like, I want to know all about it, you know?
I do like the
I
fact that
want
they
it all.
like they said before,
Yeah.
like they came out and said this is like this will add to the story. This is part of the lore.
Yeah.
And, like I'm
look at it-
I'm hoping it does have a big connection to like what goes on with
Well,
like,
they've
I'm
already
sure,
shown.
I'm
I mean,
sure.
they've already shown Samus is there. This is going to give us more of an idea of like how this federation works that Samus has to deal with
Could you
from time to time,
imagine
that she's
though,
part
just
of it.
walking and then all of a sudden there's a tiny little Samus running along with you?
Well,
That's
she's
funny.
big like that too, because they're kind of playing up the size of her armor. Because they did show her in the trailer. They showed a video like her on the screen. It was like a 3D model, and yeah, the woman's got some big old pads on the shoulder now. Like it's ridiculous how
They are big.
disproportioned she is.
It's like wow, it's like World of Warcraft. Look at that.
But I'm okay with it. I mean, everything looks like it's supposed to with that art style. But I don't know. Just calm down, everybody. Just sit down,
there
shut
was,
up. And,
Let it happen.
yeah, people are still like disliking the videos on YouTube. I'm just
yeah, they
like,
had to take that off because it was like 6,000. They had people that are just purposely spamming all of Nintendo's videos downvoting every one of them because they want, they want every single game to be the same. Same thing happened with Star Fox. People were flipping out about the controls. They're like, I want it to be like, these older ones. I was like, well, fine, go back and play Star Fox 64
Yeah, you still
so you
got
can have
that.
your controls. But watch out, you're going to get people that get all upset because that one had the new analog stick. They want the D-pad from the original one. Things change.
Yeah, things change.
You mean,
But
Well-
I
All right.
am a lot more excited for Federation Force than I was a couple.
I remember because you were all whiny about it
I
the
was.
first time. that
I
we
can
heard about
I
it.
like
I
it from
can
the start.
understand though. You
And now
take-
he
you-
went full stop and is in the other direction.
You took a single player solo, like adventure kind of
Right.
thing, and you turn it into a co-op.
And there's a whole
which
other,
I can
like-
understand some people being. upset
there's
about that.
there's more stuff to it. They even said like there's more of the story mode. There's an entire multiplayer like sports game type thing you can play that's
Blast
in
Ball,
there.
which everybody was like, oh.
I'm okay with it. It looks hilarious.
Wow.
All right.
So, moving right along.
One more
Yes.
thing. I just
Oh.
want to say one more thing.
Oh.
I'm not done. I wonder, like, how the single player thing, if there is.
Well, there is.
It'll
They've said
probably
there
just be
is.
bot control, and you just tell how everyone's laid out.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Like I
We'll
said, it comes out in late spring, so we'll probably hear more.
Who knows?
in the
Maybe you
next-
play Samus in the single player.
Yeah.
Just broke Caleb.
I just broke Caleb. Okay, so moving right along, coming out later this year is going to be Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix.
Yay!
Which is a game that offers more than 100 rhythm games, 30 of which are brand spanking new to the series.
Yes, and then
And then an additional 70 have been selected from previous games in the series, including the original Game Boy Advance title, which was never released here in the States.
yes, I have played it. It is confusing because you don't get the instructions in English in the original, but it was so much fun to play.
Yeah.
'Cause I love rhythm
there's
games.
that. And Jeremy, what is another big thing?
Yes.
I'm also excited for this, but go ahead.
Yes, Monster Hunter Generations. The newest installment in the popular Monster Hunter action RPG series from Capcom is making its way to the West. The game will feature a special collaboration armor set based on Marth from the Fire Emblem series. And anyone who plays Monster Hunter Generations on 3DS with a Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate save data present on it will receive bonus content in the new game. We don't know what that is yet, but it's...
That reminds me of what Bandai Namco did with all the Tales games. If you played one of the newer HD or one of the newer like the Symphonia
Yeah.
ones when they redid on the PS3, if you had other Tales games saved on your PS3, it would just give you costumes. It was like, oh, you played all these games? Great! Here you
Yeah.
go.
They used to do that, like on the original PlayStation and PS2.
Yeah.
There was games that would do that for, like, I think Jack and Daxter had some
Yeah.
stuff. Like if you played previous ones, you got
Right.
bonuses. I
Yeah.
love stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, we're
That-
rewarding you.
That's pretty cool.
I like
Although,
that.
what I wish, the only thing, since this is like Generations, I think it would be pretty cool if you could bring over, say, like, if you got to a certain point in the game, and it would just like bring over like your information that you got from like your.
Yeah, they're
equipment
having
and
to
stuff,
change
you
the
know.
balance and stuff, so
Right.
now everything's
Yeah.
going to make it over.
I
Right.
understand. I'm just like,
Now-
look, I got all this gear and I worked so hard for it. I don't
This-
want to just like leave it.
If
that
you
way.
don't have Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, it is being offered at a special price of $20 in the Nintendo eShop until sometime.
Today.
Until the end of today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So by the time you see this, it's already gone.
Well,
Sorry, I
it
forget.
says 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so
By the way,
it'll
Are you
probably
going to have
be-
this up before the end of the night?
What?
Is this show going to be on the air before tonight?
I don't know. That's Caleb's thing.
probably not.
This is why you keep up with us on Twitter.
Yes.
But in case people were kind of wondering, Generations is not a new title. It was originally called Monster Hunter X in Japan. So we're finally getting that version of it. They've had it for about a year, which is the normal turnaround time. Because there is a lot to translate on
Yes,
these.
depending on how they've done the localization, whether they've started on localization while making the game or while getting it ready for release.
Yeah.
Localization for any title coming from Japan over to here, it can either be 3 months to 2 years,
Yeah.
or 10 years.
If they get it any faster, it's a huge investment because they have to have both translations done at the same time.
Right. And
if
Square
anyone makes a change, it's
Yeah.
a huge.
And Square Enix is trying to do that with 15. So we'll see if they
How long
actually
you been waiting on that?
do that a long time.
Yeah.
But
So this next one seems like something that's up your alley.
yes, yes, I'm big on Disney. I'm actually going to
I could
Disney.
care less about this
I'm going to
one,
Disney in 2 weeks, guys. It's awesome. I'm
Well, you got the
very
Pokemon
excited.
one, didn't you?
So
Art
take-
Academy, no.
Yeah.
I
so
don't draw. I can't draw.
Disney Art
Jesus.
Academy is going to be coming
Yes.
to your Nintendo 3DS. You have over 80 Disney and Pixar characters with advice and lessons inspired by Disney art and Pixar animations. You can learn to use a bundle of different drawing tools in order to create, like, Elsa and Olaf, or the characters from Inside Out. Even, everyone loves Mickey Mouse,
Yep.
that kind of thing. So you can even share your creations with your friends. And it comes out on May 13th. So anyone that loves to draw, boom, there
And
you go.
it's covering the entire history of Disney's art styles too. So you're going to
So
have
from
the
old,
original like Cinderella
Steamboat
style,
and
Steamboat Willie,
Yeah.
all the way up to now with like Pixar and
I love
cleaner
Disney.
stuff.
Disney just makes me so happy. And this is
All right.
more y'all's thing.
Yes.
And side note, still haven't been able to borrow Hyrule Warriors, but
So you got a job.
I want to borrow it first before I, go
Do you
and
not
buy.
trust us? Do you not
No.
trust
Yeah.
me
No,
and
I
Caleb's?
just need to. No, I just need to. I need
expert
to play
advice?
it myself. That's all.
Well, you never
ever played Dynasty
you never come
Warriors?
And visit. You never.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You never say hi.
We're having game night. Why don't you never come by? All right. So
Hyrule Warriors Legends. I need to buy a new 3DS first.
you may not have to. Theory in a minute, I'll tell you. But go ahead.
All right. So the game
He's looking
launches
at me like,
March 25th, which it needs a pre-order. At which point, players can buy a season pass to get access to 4 DLC packs and a bonus costume for Ganondorf.
Is he gonna look fancy?
No,
It's the one
it's the
from
Wind
Wind Waker one. So yeah, it's fancy.
It's fancy.
This pack will also be available for purchase individually. Obviously, or else, what's the point? In Nintendo eShop during the next few months, a transfer code will allow purchasers to also own Hyrule Warriors for Wii U to use Ganondorf's Trident weapon and play as the 5 new characters from Hyrule Warriors Legends in the Wii U game.
Yes.
Medley from The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, which is so cool, will be available as a free download when the first DLC pack is released.
And she'll be on 3DS and Wii U. Now,
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to ask that.
She's for
Is
both.
she going to be on the Wii U too?
But it's actually the whole fact that there's a code is actually good for you because I think what they're going to end up doing is you get both games for now and you use the code to transfer everything. They might have, I think eventually they might be like, okay, we're going to put the pack online and you can buy it separately if you just don't have a 3DS at all. Because this will work on both the original 3DS and the new 3DS, but there's a big difference in how it functions.
See the frame rate difference. So that's what
It's frame rate and a lot of other
'cause I'm
stuff.
so used to it on the Wii U and just like
It's going to be even on the new 3DS. It's going to be a little bit less, but when you see it comparatively, the frame rate, like all the videos they show where it's like nice and smooth and still playing, that's all on new 3DS. It's a little it's a little slower, a little bit more jitter to it on the older hardware because they're pushing it beyond
Right.
what it can handle.
yeah, that's what I mean. So that's why I might just have to get a new 3DS. Anyways.
Okay, I'm probably have to end up getting one too at some point. But my only thing is that I have to transfer all my stuff, which in itself can be a bit of a hassle.
Takes less than 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, but
Trust me, you've seen what's on mine. We're talking about from the day the 3DS launched, with all that stuff for all this
do you
time.
still have all your ambassador games?
everything?
Yeah, you
on
can't
there.
even re-download those, by the way.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
No, I can't. On the new eShop, I can't access my old downloads, but I still have all my stuff on my
No,
3DS.
I do it all the time. Mike. I'll show you later.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I must be looking at something wrong, or it must be because I have an old 3DS. I don't
Alright.
have a new 3DS.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. Well, this is what I'm excited about.
Do it.
Well, what is
Bravely
it?
Second and Inlayer. Bravely Second Inlayer. It's the sequel to Bravely Default, which is a game like I totally love, and I'm
Yes.
hoping that they are using the same
An
composer.
actual Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I
I'm
liked
hoping.
it, except
What?
as I've said before many a time, I like it, except for the last part. I'm just
Well, yeah.
Well, also welcome
all
to
the
Final Fantasy.
last
Yeah.
part. I'm just like,
Yeah. So
Well, but
So-
anyway, it's a free demo is going to hit the Nintendo eShop on March 10th. If you're in the Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked thing, Members will receive a unique 16-digit code to access the demo early. Why are they getting it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because
They did something
Mochila.
similar for games that
Okay.
was up before. Now I wonder how much those codes are going to go for online.
A lot. Playing the demo will earn bonuses that players can transfer into the full version of the game when it launches on April 15th. So I'll be playing this on
Yeah.
my regular 3DS.
They did this. They did this for the first one as well. You would play
they
through.
did.
It was not in the story. It was a whole
Nope,
different part.
whole different thing.
And you could transfer all the stuff
It was
over.
like
it was great.
I think it was like 2 little small dungeons and a couple missions.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a little side
mini
story.
game. And they did the same thing with the Pokemon game for Sapphire, I believe. Sapphire and Ruby.
So if we're gonna follow how some of these fans have been recently, I wonder if they're gonna be all mad and complaining about that side story because it's not the actual Bravely Second.
I'm just hoping that they retain the same composer because Revo is great. He's the same guy that
Such a pretty game.
he's the same guy that composed that did the main theme for the Attack on Titan anime. So,
Nice.
and
so-
Xenoblade X.
What?
Xenoblade X and Kill la Kill, right?
No,
Same guy?
Revo didn't. No,
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 no.
different guy.
No, different
All right, I
guy.
was
This
thinking
is the same guy who did the main
look on
themes,
her
you know.
face was priceless.
No, I think I'm familiar
Yeah.
with that. Yes.
Yeah, you know, he's the guy that sings it. That's him singing.
Fair
and
enough.
Oh,
so
the singing.
if
Okay,
and
I
if
thought
you're
you were talking about the
if you're
composer.
interested, I'm gonna have to double check and see if he's actually the one doing it. But for the first game, he did release a vocal CD with singing and stuff on it. That was the Bravely Default soundtrack. So,
Nice.
It's Revo with a V.
Oops.
Yep.
All right. So this
more
is actually
RPGs.
one I'm happy about.
Me too.
Dragon Quest 7.
Fragments of the Forgotten
Yes.
Past.
Travel to the past to save the present in this classic Dragon Quest adventure that has been completely remade from the ground up on the Nintendo 3DS.
I want it.
The world has been rebuilt, the characters have new 3D models, and the story has been completely relocalized.
I want it.
Even customize your party with over 30 classes and rank up in turn-based battles to learn new spells and abilities.
I want it.
I figured that. Once again. The game is going to be launching later this year, 2016.
So many RPGs in a
Yes.
little time.
This one was, I believe, originally a PlayStation 2 title.
No, that was 8.
Oh, sorry, 8 was the first one on there. So 7 was, yeah.
Yeah. Well, in any case, though, guys, so many RPGs are coming out this year for Nintendo and PlayStation and all that. For so many alone, you might want to put Sound Horizon at the end of what you're looking
was
up.
quietly looking.
So, because that's how you'll find him. Anyway, but so many RPGs. My wallet's gonna be just empty, completely empty. But
All right.
here's
more RPG.
here's your this is more your thing than mine.
Well, I actually don't have Fates right now. It's kind of sad. I'm trying to save up money for a trip. I don't have any new games. All right, so Fire Emblem Fates Revelation, the third path in the story reveals many secrets not available in Birthright or Conquest versions. On March 10th, players can purchase Revelation for $20. Once purchased, a third option will appear at the Branch of Fate moment of the game. Spoilers, by the way. So
Yeah.
So refuse, and then you refuse to choose a side. So today, 2 new maps. Museum,
Or yesterday,
Melee, and Ghost of Yep, yesterday. Excuse me. All right. Are being released for purchase in the Dragon's Gate in-game DLC shop with Royal Royale launching on March 17th. After March 17th, additional maps will be released on a weekly basis through April 21st.
That's kind of cool.
We're only done with the first page.
Well,
The first page of the show.
Sad update for Rachel. He is not doing the music for this one.
why? Who's doing it?
I don't know, but it's not him.
Oh no! Why? That is
Money? I don't know.
Send me that link. I need to read that and then send him a very disappointed email. Because it was beautiful. It was so
see.
beautiful. And I'm very disappointed. Revo, I am disappointed in you right now.
Now he's gonna go dislike the video. Why you gotta do
No,
that?
he's not.
Why you gotta
He
do
won't
that?
do that.
He won't be able to, he can't do it due to scheduling conflicts.
Oh, he's probably doing a new story CD.
It's going to
for
be, the
Sound Horizon.
soundtrack will be created by Ryu from Supercell.
Okay, that's okay.
With some tracks from the first game returning, like town tracks and a few others.
Okay, well, he
So-
still have some stuff in there. but-
Jeremy, what's going on with the virtual 3DS console or whatever it is?
I have dealt with more about this.
It might be another hour. I'm just saying.
Oh, God. Okay.
We're about to get a technical lesson, children.
let's-
Sit down, class is in session.
Let's do the short version in layman's terms, please.
That is the short version. Let's go.
Oh.
All right. So,
Goodbye.
Virtual Console
We'll take it
is
now.
getting an update. We are getting Super Nintendo games on the new Nintendo 3DS. And there is a reason I have to clarify that. At the conclusion of today's Nintendo Direct, Super Mario World, F-Zero, and Pilot Wings will be available, mirroring the original Super NES launch lineup. On March 24th, Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario Kart, and Earthbound will join the lineup. And on April 14th, my wallet will be empty because I'll be getting for The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Super Metroid, and Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Quest. The new 3DS hardware enables perfect pixel mode in these versions, which gives players the option to display the game in their original resolution, which honestly is what you should be doing anyways. There's going to be a full listing of more Virtual Console games coming out at Nintendo.com. Mega Man X has already been shown off in the Japanese one.
Should we just go over to the Nintendo building with a helicopter and just dump buckets of cash?
Well, I'm actually a little mad at them right now about this. First off, the reason that this is only on the new Nintendo 3DS, and the arguments I've heard is what I want to kind of settle. The 3DS is not powerful enough to properly emulate and run Super Nintendo games.
Oh.
That's just how it is. It needs more processing,
kinda
needs
weird,
more
but
RAM.
Okay.
Well, it's not. Because
it is, but it isn't. I understand where you're
the
coming
arguments
from,
people brought up with me is they're like, oh, well, it can run Ocarina of Time. Well, that was ported and completely rebuilt and redesigned for it.
Yep.
Think about it this way. Like, the Super Nintendo wasn't even able to run Game Boy games.
Wop wop.
Because, the original Super Nintendo couldn't do it because it just wasn't powerful enough. The Super Game Boy was there, but it was literally the hardware of a Game Boy inside of it. All it used was the TV output, power, and the controller port from the Super Nintendo. It was just a pass-through. That's all it did. Same thing for the GameCube. That's what it had to do for the Game Boy player. It was literally, you just bolted a Game Boy Advance to the bottom of the system, and it just used all the pass-through. And you put the disc in to reload the drivers for it. So when they try and run these on that, a lot of people, the other argument they brought up was like Game Boy Advance games for the Ambassadors, the ones you were talking about earlier. Those ran like garbage compared to how they had to be.
Well, the Minish Cap wasn't bad.
It had issues, but in order to get even to that point, because there were like audio sync issues, there were color issues, it was not a perfect run.
I guess I never played the original, so
yeah, I noticed it, and I was just like, all right, well, I'll do what I can. It was free.
Yeah.
But in order to use those, you ever turn it on and realize you lose all functionality in your 3DS? You can't put it to sleep. You can't see your friends. You can't connect via Street Pass. They have to shut off the entire OS of the system and bring it to just reload its own little thing just to get those games to run, and they'd have to do that for every one of them. Because a Super Nintendo game takes more to run than a Game Boy Advance one does, to a point, because it's a higher resolution. There's more stuff to do with it. Now, the Super Nintendo games that were on Game Boy Advance, every one of those they did, and for the original NES re-release games, they had to go in and recode and rebuild those titles from the ground up. They played just like they did, but they had to go in and specially design everything to do that. It takes a lot of hardware to accurately emulate anything. And that's what people kind of they don't really quite understand. Like, oh, well, some people have like little Android tablets that can play these old games. And yeah, you could play them to a point, but there were like major issues with them. Frame drop. It's not, there's a difference between actually emulating it correctly and playable. And I'm using the little finger emphasis here, playable.
And with that being said, that is your lesson today, guys. There will be a test next week before we go on spring break.
Pop quiz, get your pencils.
Please remember to study your material by watching this video.
If you want to know more, find me on Twitter. I know we normally do this at the end, but at ZensPath, I will gladly explain. I've been going off about this all morning.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You weren't even there for all of it.
But
all right.
Now this is
mine.
Oh, okay. Go.
I'm excited.
You get the weird one.
Okay.
Yeah, you do get the
because it's got horses.
And then we're gonna run through the amiibo stuff. So.
Yeah, I think we've covered most of it. Go ahead.
All right, so Azure Striker Gunvolt 2. Whee! First one was so great. Gunvolt's rival Copen joins the fray as a playable character. Now, I'll be honest, I can't remember exactly who he is. I was like,
he's a character from the first one.
I know.
Blah, blah.
Who's now playable?
I'm thinking of. I think there's at this one level there was a dude sitting in a chair.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure it's a little more than that, but anyways.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to
go moving right along.
I'm gonna have to refresh it or whatever. But
it's a beautiful, fast action shooting game. Play it.
I completed it. It was fun. It's great.
It's gonna be $9.99.
Players can,
Through June 1st.
yeah, and Copen's like flying through the levels and stuff like that, and lasers going everywhere. It's great.
Laser beam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Laser.
The original game launches this summer. The original is on sale till
Till June
$9.99.
1st. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
$9.99. Yep. Okay, this next thing, people are going absolutely ham salad in Japan for. Yeah, they're going ham.
Okay,
They're going
that's just
ham.
weird
They're
term.
going too ham with no sandwich. There was not enough bread to make sandwiches with how ham they're going on this. You don't like that?
Go ahead.
I like that.
Go ahead.
I just came up with that, and it didn't even get a laugh. Why?
I'm laughing on the inside.
confused.
Okay, so basically, this game is called Pocket Card Jockey.
Yeah.
It is solitaire meets horse racing.
Meets horse breeding.
Yeah, and breeding.
Yeah.
Breed them by
I
feeding
don't
them cards
know.
or something like that. You feed them cards and
Okay,
they
so
breed.
and this is by no, really, this is what it is, and it's Game Freak did it.
I
Game
know, that's why I'm
Freak,
surprised.
Of all people.
That was kind of why I'm like, I might actually try
So
it.
it puts players in the saddle as a jockey who must complete a fast-paced, simplified version of solitaire in order to propel your horse through intense races.
Okay, how many grandmothers are going to be like the masters of
No.
this game because it's just solitaire?
I just
yeah.
no, I just thought of it. Just thought, what was that? Yu-Gi-Oh 5D? Is that what it is? Where they,
You
where
lost
they,
me at Yu-Gi-Oh.
Where they-
you lost me at 5D.
They ride on the motorcycles and they play the card game. It's weird. That's what
Okay.
this reminds me of.
Okay.
This reminds me of solitaire because it's solitaire.
So basically, if you want a game that your grandma can play on your 3DS, it's this one. It's all about leveling up the horse through strategic positioning and placement on track. Over time, players can win trophies for high-ranking races and secure sponsors. The game launches in May.
Your confusion launches now.
Your confusion launches right now.
After a
Literally
game of
right
solitaire.
now. Yes. Okay, so hey, Jeremy,
All right.
since you know most about Amiibo,
I'm just going to run through this
Yeah.
real
give
quick.
us the
Let's do
lowdown
it.
real quick.
All right,
We're
so
almost at the second hour. but-
yeah.
Oh my God.
The Mini Mario. Yeah. Well, I could
ahead.
have gone more in Virtual Console. Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge is going to be a free to download game for people that have purchased or will purchase Amiibos. It'll be on Wii U and 3DS. It's kind of like individual specific challenges for those. It's a bonus for getting Amiibos. Any new ones after a certain date will have the game included after March 25th. Everyone else will be able to download it on April 28th for free. Isabella is for some reason getting her own separate Amiibo
'Cause
figure
everyone
because of
loves
her.
Isabelle.
It's literally because she has summer clothes on.
Wait, so now that I have my Wolflink Amiibo, I can play it with this?
That should be one of the ones available, I think.
Okay.
But it's not going to come out until the 25th, and what'll probably happen is, they'll have another Amiibo come out then. When you buy it, you'll get a code with it. If you already have them and you're not going to get any more, it'll become available for everyone after April 28th.
Okay, well, I might get it if it's free. Then
It's free, and it's on 3DS and Wii U.
Woo!
Bless
Excuse
you.
me.
Isabel's, like I said, getting another Amiibo. It's they're separating the one from the Amiibo Festival to buy by itself. Plus, she's getting one with the summer outfit, and like an idiot, I'm going to buy it.
Of course.
So,
And then the Amiibo,
Amiibo cards. Series 3, because I don't know why they said Series 4. We're only in Series 3 of the cards are coming out. I'm still trying to get 1 and 2. Stop!
Also, Jeremy, it went into it put it up to the first line for whatever reason.
Yes,
but,
rumor.
Talk about this rumor real quick.
Yes, Nintendo may be funding Beyond Good and Evil's sequel, which is great. They're basically pulling a Bayonetta 2 like they did before. It's one of those games that have been rumored to exist for years while still staying weirdly in limbo every time it's discussed. Ubisoft insists the project has not been canned and brings it up multiple times each year, but nothing concrete seems to surface. We got one trailer 6 years ago and we never saw it again. According to a rumor
That
received
reminds
by
me of something.
Destructoid this week, the game may actually come to fruition in the not-too-distant future. If the information is to be believed, Nintendo has pulled the Bayonetta 2, securing the Beyond Good and Evil sequel as an NX exclusive for 2017.
Well then.
Nintendo is very
Come on, E3, don't suck.
Don't fail me now.
Yeah,
All right.
E3 will be.
Okay.
Nerd vocab.
Yep.
What is it this week?
What is it?
Yeah, just rushing through, aren't we?
Yeah, go ahead. So
Go.
now I
Power
can
Glove.
Talk about
The Power Glove is a controller accessory for the Nintendo Entertainment System. The Power Glove itself was commercial success for its early virtual reality mechanics and being shown in various forms of media. However, its 2 games did not sell well as it was not packaged with the game, and it was criticized for its imprecise and difficult-to-use controls. Yes, I will go into further detail. It was originally
have, like,
made.
a movie. It did have. A
It was
movie.
showed up in the Wizard It's
Yeah.
so bad.
Uh-huh.
But it was originally designed by Mattel,
Uh-huh.
and Nintendo bought that. There are 2 sizes available. I'm actually still trying to find. There's like a larger and then a kid size. There is a left and right hand one. Good luck finding those.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on.
Wow.
Okay, well, the reason why we're talking about this is because Sony has patented some weird thing, but we're going to get to that after we talk about this.
Yes.
So the PS4 is finally getting features that it should have had for years.
About time.
In the next firmware update, it will finally let you turn on notifications for when your friends come online. So there's already notifications for when your friends join a party. Like, say,
That is annoying.
yeah, which is annoying, but you can turn them on and off. It's at will. It's like you can mark certain friends that you want to, like people that you play a lot, so you want to play a lot with, so you want to know when they're on, so you can play with them.
Right.
So that way you can set a notification to, okay, when does my friend David come online? Okay, boom, I want to know when he comes online. That sort of thing. It still won't let you change your username, but it'll at least give you some privacy. With firmware 3.5, it's in beta now. The final release is to be determined. It's going to basically allow you to appear offline as another feature. They also plan to bring remote play to the PC and Mac. Yay. That's good.
I mean, it took them long enough. The Super
Did.
Nintendo had offline play for years.
Ah.
So
Moving
for
on.
so for a full feature kind of list, just Google it. There's a bunch of different little.
It is a lot of
things.
good stuff they added.
A good one that I like is you can actually you can stream directly now to Dailymotion, which is a new one.
what
Because
I
right
wanna
now
know is-
they use Twitch and Ustream and one other one, but not Dailymotion yet. So
What I want to know is, can you change the stream settings on your thing when you stream, or is it just like?
What do you mean?
You can go in and tweak
You
it
can
how
go in
you
and
want it
tweak
to
it.
operate it.
when
Yeah.
when you stream directly onto Twitch from your PlayStation, you can pick how you want it to stream. You could pick to it just being you talking, or include your party members, or include video. You can change it how you actually what do you want it to stream in full
Well, I know
HD?
you can't include party members
Yeah.
because I know specifically like some of the groups they don't let you do it, and you have to go. For some of the devices, they had to actually make a way to add party chat to
Well,
it. It was kinda weird.
I know with the PlayStation you can have your party chat in there because I do it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but see that here the thing is when you go and you hit start broadcast, it will give you a notification saying this will include party audio. Please let the people in your party know that you are including party audio, because if they haven't given permission on their settings, it won't let you hear them. But everyone that I play with has already checked that thing in their party settings.
I just run my mouth, so whatever.
Yeah. But here's another thing, and I'll let you cover this
Yay.
since it's more your speed, because Power Glove.
Sony once again in their infinite wisdom of
They're
originality. Sony patents new Power Glove for PlayStation VR. One challenge facing virtual reality designers is that what they should do with the player's hands. Some games, like flight simulators, have it relatively easy. A joystick and throttle can easily mirror what's going on in the cockpit. But for most everything else, some sort of new controller is needed to avoid creating a disconnect between what the players see and what they feel. Up until now, Sony has utilized PlayStation Move wands when demoing PlayStation VR, and while they work better than a DualShock controller in this circumstance, it seems the company is testing out other ideas and looking to push things further with new technology. With that in mind, the electronics giant has filed 3 patents for a glove controller that would track individual finger positioning, include contact sensors, and send data back to the headset display so that what your hands are doing is reflected on screen in real time. Patents also include notes regarding sensors for detecting pressure and wrist movement, as well as haptic communicators or rumble to provide a sense of touch to pair with the visuals.
Didn't they just recently try to patent the word play or something?
Yeah, let's play.
Okay.
Jinx.
I would too.
This
Sony.
this is a good idea. I think it actually is something good. It's just kind of funny when they were trying to actually have the idea of Power Glove. They're like, really?
Okay, Sony.
I could see all of it being good to use. The haptic stuff and some of that, I don't really see that making it in for all of it because what it would require
Price.
for the price and stuff like that. But just the actual sensors being able to track movement could be done. Now, I think they'd be better doing I know with the Kinect, they're going to do it where it actually just tracks the individual fingers, which it can do, which you don't have to wear anything. You just go up there and do it. So they'll find a happy medium somewhere. So
Yeah, they will.
speaking of Xbox.
Yeah. Who wanted to? Caleb, I guess, and then
could.
Jeremy
So-
can talk a little bit about it too, I suppose.
The headline read. Okay, it doesn't read this, but headline reads: Xbox One tries to become a PC.
Okay, but and
Like, no, the real headline is Xbox One could be getting a hardware upgrades like PC. So last week, Microsoft held its Xbox Spring Showcase, and the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, dropped some hints about the Xbox One's future as a PC. You'll actually see us come out with new hardware capability during generation, allowing the same games to run backwards and forwards. Forward compatibility because we have a Universal Windows application like a PC running on top of the Universal Windows platform that allows us to focus more and more on hardware innovation without validating the games that run on that platform. End quote. Spencer said, insinuating that the Xbox One will have some kind of hardware upgradability, not Connect 3.
please God, no.
I kind of hope
great.
it would.
So, yeah.
I'm just like hashtag not surprised because it is a Microsoft console.
Hashtag exactly like a PC, but whatever. No.
Which
Well-
is me, which most
But that's what
build
people are
yourself-
complaining about. That's what they wanted because all a PS4 and a Xbox One R is a mid-range gaming PC. That's what they are. They're nowhere near
Nope.
a full-blown gaming PC.
I need
but,
a new graphics card for my PC.
Same here.
But what they're trying to do is because the Xbox One does run a version of Windows on it, and right now you can buy one game. All three of us can buy the same game, and our computers will all run it, but we're going to run it at different degrees depending on how our systems are. So they're kind of doing that with an Xbox One, where if you don't upgrade it for a couple years, you can still play the game. It just may not look as good. The problem comes into when you get to a point where a game does require the higher end. Like you're going to have to design for the weakest, but then have it do better on the more powerful, and that's when you run into issues. Example we're aware of, like 3DS and new 3DS. Terraria. It'll run on the original. My friend plays it and everything, but then he saw how perfectly it runs on the new one that I have, and he got kind of annoyed. So that's going to be kind of weird if they keep doing that. They referenced like cell phone models where people will swap out phones. I really don't want to buy that many consoles.
No, neither do I.
Not even me.
No.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing I'm very
Talk
excited
about
about.
the game that's never coming out, Rachel.
Coming out in
Caleb,
soon.
I will slap you. Yeah. So
Tom actually wants you to do that.
Yeah,
He said it makes for good TV.
yeah. So yeah. So anyway, so here's the thing. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Anyway, so a lot of open world games are coming out this year and within the next year, and that's very exciting to me. No, that's very exciting to
and
me.
many years before,
because,
many years after.
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot
I know.
coming out this
Trust
year.
me, I
Like
know.
it's a ridiculous amount. There's a ridiculous amount of RPGs, and a lot of them are open world. And then there's open world ones that don't necessarily classify as an RPG
No one has
necessarily.
the time to play
Zelda!
them all.
Yeah.
Zelda.
So here's the thing. Here's the big thing. What I like about open world games is that you can play them and play them and play them and play them and play them.
That's also
That's-
the problem, but okay.
Yes,
go
but
ahead.
here's the thing. You could just buy it and play a game for like years and be okay.
Until they
That's
stop
me.
supporting it, like EA, and just pull it off. But whatever.
Well, that's
Go ahead.
that's neither here nor there. So the game that we're talking about is No Man's Sky, and
Yes.
No Man's Sky is
Or no man's gonna buy the game because it's not gonna come out. But all right. Kidding.
Why are you such a pessimist? Get out of here. Just go.
I had issues with it originally, but I mean, I talked to you about it once
Yeah.
again, one of our little discussions.
Yeah.
The game
It's
yeah,
got
go
a
ahead.
lot of possibility. That's the thing.
Well, it's got an infinite mathematical possibility.
Exactly. And so there's every
If it's released.
there No Man's Sky after what feels like a decade of hype really.
Kidding. It's only been a year and a half.
It's a colorful space shooter. It finally has a release date. It's going to be June 21st of 2016, barring anything weird. It'll be out for PC and PS4 then.
Really?
And for PlayStation, it'll even get a full retail release. And
Which
yes,
means I'll be buying it.
Yes, the game will cost $60.
I'm okay with that.
So the info comes as part of a huge preview dump for No Man's Sky, which is hyped endlessly since it came out of literally nowhere
Yeah.
to steal the show at the 2013 VGAs.
I've had issues with it since then, which I'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, and so the folks behind it gave a preview event in LA and the UK this week in order to get the press playing, and the embargo went up yesterday morning. So here's the
Yeah.
thing: this game was on like the Colbert Report. What makes it really interesting is every player is going to have a bit of a different experience. The likelihood of you running into someone else you know in the game is very small, unless you are really, really smart and prearrange it and happen to be very lucky.
Well, for
Like,
part of it, the
and-
problem I had is you're talking about like everyone's going to get a different experience, but for the actual demos, what they showed, everybody got the same thing.
Well, that's yes.
because they didn't actually have a live version of it for
No,
most of the time they
right.
were showing it off, and that was my hesitation.
And they're showing pieces and parts, but they're not. But here's the thing: is the good thing about that is they're not giving away too much.
Well, that's the thing. If the way the thing is it generates each world uniquely,
Mm-hmm.
they should be showing that. You want to see this rich
Well,
amount.
maybe the next thing that they show will.
Well, I mean, we're talking about
Yeah.
it's been since 2013. It's been 3 years this thing's been shown off. We've only seen the same thing. That was my hesitation. They talked about having all this infinite world and the things you could do with it, but they only showed canned demos of everything. None of it was actually live. And given how some of the companies have been recently, that was a cause for hesitation. I've been excited about it, but I wanted really good evidence of what was going on. Like, all right, that's a huge thing to promise. We need to see something to further that. I mean, what they showed was great, where they'd kind of hop around and do stuff like that. But just now we're finally seeing, like, hey, here's this writer, he was playing it, here's what he did.
Here's
and-
the thing. I can. Did you watch the coverage on the Colbert Report?
Yeah, that
Or
was
not the
actually.
Colbert Report, but the late night Colbert thing.
How long ago was that?
A month or two ago.
Yeah, it was a couple months
Couple
ago.
months ago, but
Yeah.
he was the only one that got to. That was just made just for him.
Yeah.
That was his experience.
But I mean,
that
I wanted
they
to
had
see people like you see games coming out and they're like, hey, we're getting a few minutes to play it. Like Federation Force, we were talking about that earlier.
Now-
We got like 15 minutes of them playing it
I
and
know.
seeing how they did it.
See, I haven't seen anything else from this. Like the embargo was lifted, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a huge amount of coverage on it other than that the embargo was lifted. So I'm gonna have to look it up because
Well, I wasn't the only one that was like, hey, we're seeing the same demos again and again. We're seeing the same worlds.
Yeah.
For something that's supposed to be infinite possibilities, we're only seeing the same thing over again. When they were kind of asked, like, well, what's going on?
Well, what I'm
they were quiet
saying
about it.
is, have they talked about what was covered in this thing yet? Has anyone talked about what's covered in this thing?
Yeah.
Are they showing canned demos in this particular?
No.
thing?
That's what I'm saying. They're
Yeah.
finally showing something.
Yeah.
But we've had 3 years where they were kind of
Right.
quiet about it. That was my hesitation. I'm not saying I wasn't against.
Yeah,
I was against
so-
or anything.
So now is that hesitation a little less because they're showing new?
Yeah, they're actually showing something. It just
Yeah.
for as much as they promised, they kind of needed to have more to back it up.
Right.
And that's why people were kind of iffy. But I'm going to try it out.
I'm going to try it out. I think it's worth it to try it out, especially for what they're trying to accomplish. And I imagine that there's going to be a good bit of updates that go with the game release. There probably
Yeah.
is. But
Well, that makes sense.
it's if what they are trying to do actually works the way it's supposed to. Say for example, statistical probability this may not happen, but say you are on the same planet with your friend, but you're on the same planet. That
But
doesn't
see-
mean you're in the same area.
Well, no, the way
Yeah.
they originally promised it,
Yeah.
and mind you, I've been keeping up with this.
Right.
They talked about where when these worlds were made, they had their servers would keep up with it, so you could get those coordinates, and your friends could go to
Yeah.
it. They could meet up. We're going to go here.
No, I can start.
But I mean, like, just running into people on your own without arranging it is very difficult.
Yeah, that's a little bit trickier,
Yeah.
but it's going to be kind of managed in
Right.
size. It's not going to be like you're here and then you'll never see anyone in the infinite of space as you're going. You're going to be within a certain distance of other stuff until, there's only going to be so much dead space. It's like a galaxy, but scaled down.
Right.
Which
but
makes
running
sense.
But regardless, running into someone accidentally is going to be. That's
Right.
going to be difficult. But no, you can plan meetups and stuff like that. But say, for example, what I'm trying to say is literally a planet is a planet. It's not just a. It's not
Yeah.
just a small area. You're literally on a planet. You could go all the way around the planet.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So.
Because each one generates how the life forms are and things like that. And it'll keep track and record of certain things. It won't track of everything. Like, it's not going to know what trees you've cut down. It's
Yeah,
not going to know what
yeah,
animals you've
yeah.
killed. But you'll add to a universal database as you find these new creatures
Yeah.
that adds into it for what they're made. And
Right.
we're kind of spotted together.
I'm very
explore.
excited for it, honestly. I think
am.
it's going to be really cool. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play the heck out of it. But we'll see how
All
it
right.
goes.
Yep.
And let's get on to our last bit. This is more of technology news.
And a slap in the face
Eh.
to Mac.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So the Pentagon is launching a pilot project challenging hackers to test federal cybersecurity.
So go for it.
I know
Yes.
a certain organization on campus that would be interested in this.
I've already talked to him.
Good.
I've already got that stuff going.
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's in an effort to improve the security of several key defense networks. The Pentagon is challenging a number of hackers to attempt to compromise some U.S. Departments of Defense websites.
They're like, ha! I
Go
dare
ahead.
you.
Go ahead. Day.
That's good. I mean,
Yes.
if they don't have people honestly attacking it that they are aware of, someone's going to still do it. It's just when they're not aware of it.
Yep,
That's the problem.
So to do this, the Pentagon will select a number of vetted hackers and place them in front of a predetermined public-facing system. So
Yeah, they said the first run before anyone's vetted will not have any kind of security, actual information on it.
Yeah.
Once these people are vetted, they will probably go in and try to attack actual
Yep.
content, but they'll be signed in
but
at that
no,
point.
Yeah.
no sensitive information will be
Not in the
at
first
risk.
run.
On the first run. Officials say that the goal is not to compromise any aspect of our critical systems, but to still challenge our cybersecurity in a new and innovative way. So the Defense Secretary Ash Carter said of the project, and this was via Reuters.
Reuters.
He says that I'm confident that this innovative initiative will strengthen our digital defenses and ultimately enhance our national security, which he is right.
Yeah.
He's definitely right.
You have to be able to do that
Yeah,
stuff.
hacking and cybersecurity is a constantly changing thing. So
All right. Well, our last story on here.
it's a slap in the face to Apple.
Yeah. Oculus Rift will support Macs when Apple makes a good computer.
Wop wop.
We already know the Oculus Rift will support PCs that manage to meet its recommended specs, which are not a joke, by the way.
They're not.
But what about Mac owners that also want to try out Facebook's VR headset?
You're out of luck.
Well, unfortunately, they may be in a bit of a wait, depending on Apple's plans for their personal computers. Speaking to Shack News about potential support for the Mac, Oculus VR founder Palmer Luckey said it was up to Apple, and if they decide to ever, and I quote, prioritize high-end GPUs. According to Luckey, Apple's computers are not equipped to handle the Oculus Rift. Even the Mac Pro isn't capable enough.
We need a sound effect of disappointment. Here we go. So basically, that's our extra long show today because
Yes, it's
Nintendo went ham on their direct.
You're making me hungry. Stop talking about him.
Just go get a ham sandwich. So yeah,
There's some in the
and now
studio,
it's
well.
time for our social media thing. You can find us on Facebook at the Nerd Edification Hour, where we post basically this day in nerd history. I'll be posting one of those shortly at some point this evening. I'm also starting to post what's called a topic preview, so you know what we're kind of an idea of what we're going to be covering in our videos that we end up posting online on our YouTube channel. Which, Caleb, what is our YouTube channel?
The YouTube channel, as well as Twitch, is Strangely Entertaining. Capital S, capital E. All very good, all very fun. Haven't been able to stream recently due to homework and stuff, but that's where you can find the show. Yeah.
And we also have a Twitter too, and that's at Nerd Edification, right?
Yes, at Nerd Edification.
And that's Caleb Spiel over there.
Yeah.
And you can also find me on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/outrageous, which is OUTRACHEOUS. Yeah. Like outrageous, but with my name in it a little bit.
Oh, Lord.
I'm fun!
As I said before, you can find me on Twitter at Zenspath. You can also find me on Twitch, where I've been playing Star Fox. I've actually picked up some more games today. Like, I might go back and play the original Xbox Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Oh,
just 'cause it's so
God.
bad. But that's going to be twitch.tv/Zenspath. And then also, you can find us on Zenspath.com for our podcast, which is on iTunes. And then Facebook.com/Zenspath.
Yay! Yay!
All
I've been
right,
playing
well-
Digimon on my Twitch channel.
Man,
I know.
wanna play
Yes.
Digimon.
That was
I
funny.
want to play it so badly. Thank you for sticking around if you stuck around this far. And until next week, stay fancy.
Bye!